Welcome to Behind the Campaign, where we unpack real marketing stories, dive into case studies, and break down strategies that make learning marketing easy and fun. Get ready to uncover the secrets behind successful campaigns and discover how you can apply them to your own brand. Let's dive in.
Welcome to the deep dive.
Great to be here.
So today we're looking at a campaign that, well, you almost certainly remember, Coca-Cola's Share a Coke.
Oh, yeah. It's become such a classic case study in connection, hasn't it?
It really has. And we've gathered some really interesting material to try and unpack how this idea, which seems so simple, actually made such a massive global splash.
Exactly. We're going to explore how taking, something as everyday as a Coke bottle and adding that personal touch, a name, led to some pretty significant results.
Right.
We'll trace it from the start, see how it changed, and maybe pull out some broader lessons for marketing.
Okay, let's unpack this then. The core idea, just swapping the logo on one side for Share a Coke with, and then someone's name.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds, almost deceptively simple. What was the actual thinking behind that?
Well, I think that simplicity is kind of the magic, isn't it? It tapped into something really basic, the human need for recognition, for connection.
Seeing your own name on something so iconic.
Exactly. By putting names on bottles, Coke wasn't just, selling a drink. They were offering this little personalized moment, a chance to find yourself or someone you care about on this huge global brand.
And the idea was definitely to encourage sharing, right? The name itself implies it.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Share the drink, yeah, but also share that moment of discovery, finding the name, posting about it. That was key.
And this wasn't just a tiny test run. It started in Australia, 2011.
Right.
And then rolled out to over 80 countries. That sounds like a logistical nightmare.
Oh, it's a huge undertaking.
Right.
And a really critical part of making it work globally was localization.
Meaning?
Meaning they didn't just use a generic list of names. They actually compiled lists for each country, about 250 of the most popular names in that specific market.
Ah, smart. So you had a decent chance of finding your name wherever you were.
Exactly. Maximizing that personal relevance. And sometimes they added like generic nicknames too. Mate or buddy or titles.
Okay, so it starts down under. Australia. What happened there? Did it work?
It certainly seems so. The reports, particularly from the ad agency Ogilvy, estimated something like a 4% increase in Coke's share of the drinks market.
4% is pretty good.
And maybe even more impressively, a 7% jump in consumption among young adults.
Wow, 7%.
Yeah.
With young adults, that's a demographic they always want to reach.
Definitely. And you can see why it might resonate. That whole idea of self-expression, finding your name, sharing it online, it's perfect social media fodder, really. Instant shareable content.
And it wasn't just sales figures, right? It picked up awards, too.
Yeah, several big ones at the Creative Effectiveness Line Awards at Cannes.
Okay, so that signals it wasn't just a flash in the pan commercially. The industry itself recognized it as something, well, innovative.
Absolutely. It showed it resonated on multiple levels.
Right.
And that success in Australia, that was probably the green light they needed to say, okay, let's take this global.
Right. Which brings us to the U.S. Bigger market, maybe more complex. How does Share a Coke do there?
Well, the numbers showed an increase in sales, over 2%, which is good. But maybe the bigger story in the U.S. was that it actually reversed a trend. Coke consumption had been declining for something like 10 years.
Wow, 10 years of decline.
Yeah, and this campaign is credited with turning that around.
That's huge. So it wasn't just a sales bump, it actually changed the trajectory.
It really suggests the power of what people call mass personalization, making a mass product feel individual, creating that one-to-one feeling, but, at scale.
A 10-year decline reversal. That's a powerful case study. But they didn't just stick with the original format, did they? It kept evolving.
No, exactly. They had to keep it fresh. So in 2015, they massively increased the number of names, up to around 1,000, I think.
1,000 names. Plus they added things like nicknames.
Right. Nicknames like bro, sis, better half, sidekick, things like that.
That makes sense. Broadens it out from just your name to your relationships, your crew.
It was a smart move, yeah. Made it easier for more people to find a bottle that felt relevant, either to them or someone they knew.
And then 2016, they went in a totally different direction, didn't they?
They did. That year, they swapped out the names completely.
For what?
Song lyrics. Lyrics from about 70 really popular songs.
The song lyrics, like...
Oh, classics, like Lean on Me or Queen's We Are the Champions, stuff everyone knows.
Huh. That's quite a shift. From my name specifically to a song we all might know.
Exactly. It was a pivot towards shared culture, shared emotions, rather than just individual identity. Music connects people in a different way.
So what was the thinking there? Just broadening the appeal again?
Probably. While names are super personal, lyrics tap into those collective memories, those universal feelings. It gave people another way to connect with the brand and each other, maybe sparking a different kind of sharing moment.
Interesting. And the evolution didn't stop with lyrics, did it? What about 2017?
Correct. Toys of
Yeah.
17 saw another twist. They went back to text on the bottles, but this time, holiday destinations.
Like places.
Yeah, popular places.
Right.
Hawaii, Ibiza, Barbados, aspirational spots.
Okay, so now it's about shared dreams, maybe. Travel experiences.
Kind of tapping into that desire for experiences, for escape, linking Coke to holidays, or maybe just dreaming about them. Another layer of connection.
Names, nicknames, songs, destinations. It's like they kept finding new ways to frame that sharing idea.
Pretty much. And in 2017, there was even another layer they teamed up with McCann and Score a Score.
Right, I saw that.
To create over 1,000 unique little songs, jingles almost, based on the names.
So you could get a song for your name.
Yeah. Adding yet another level of personalization. Really trying to keep people engaged in different ways.
It really sounds like constant experimentation. So stepping back a bit, what did all this mean for the marketing world? What were the big takeaways?
Well, I think the massive success of Share a Coke was a huge wake-up call, or maybe a reinforcement about the power of personalization.
Even for a giant brand like Coke.
Especially for a giant brand. It showed that making consumers feel seen, feel individually recognized, could drive serious engagement, loyalty, and, yeah, sales.
Yeah.
It really drove home the value of tapping into that psychology, self-expression connection.
It really highlighted how you can make something mass-produced feel special to one person. And didn't they even create a special typeface just for the campaign?
They did, the U2 typeface, which again just shows that attention to detail, reinforcing that personalized feel right down to the letters on the bottle.
Okay, so let's sum this up. Share a Coke. Starts with a simple idea, names on bottles,
Yeah.
explodes globally, boosts sales significantly, even reverses a long decline in a key market.
Right.
And it does this by tapping into personalization, but it keeps evolving names, nicknames, songs, destinations, even personalized jingles.
It's a masterclass, really, in keeping a core idea fresh and relevant.
Yeah.
It showed how vital it is for brands to find meaningful ways to connect personally and to adapt those methods over time as consumer interests shift.
Which leads us perfectly to our final thought for you, the listener. When you look at how Share a Coke changed over the years, from your name to your relationships to shared songs to places you dream of, what does that evolution tell us about personalization itself and about how brands keep trying in ever more creative ways to make that connection feel real and individual? Something to think about.
Definitely food for thought.
Thanks for diving deep with us today.
Thanks for tuning in to Behind the Campaign. We hope you enjoyed this story and took away some valuable marketing insights. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this with a fellow marketer. Until next time.